In this video, we are going to take this 1975 left-handed Strat and give it a slight makeover. And what I mean by that is, when this guitar showed up to me, it had the world's worst aftermarket pickguard on it. It was bulbous, the holes didn't line up, the volume control was really far away from the bridge pickup, so it was just terrible. It was completely wrong. And the goal of this video is we're going to take a brand new Fender pickguard, we're going to age it and give it all the proper characteristics of a 75 pickguard, and then install it just long enough for the owner to find a suitable vintage replacement. So that's the plan. The pickups in this now are from '79, the entire assembly is, because the original pickups were taken out and they're long gone. Who knows what happened to those. So anyway, this has had several pickguards on it before too. You can see at least two different 62 style pickguards, and somebody filled that with wood and sharpied over it. This did leave the factory with this black paint job on it, so it's really cool. You can see the white primer undercoat. If I go to the headstock, it's got a very nice amber color with lots of nice checking on it. Somebody did add different tuners on it at one time, but vintage tuners are back on it, so that's good. It also had an extra string tree added because 2 string trees apparently just isn't enough. So anyway, it's a really cool guitar. It's got a great Band of Gypsies kind of Hendrix vibe to it. So coming up next is the pickguard. This is the pickguard that we're going to use for the project. It's just a brand new genuine Fender reissue made in USA part. It is super shiny, so shiny that it's hard to record because the camera just wants to pick up the reflection of the light up above it. Again, this is a USA part. That's pretty much all I use for anything I build, unless it was like a British guitar or something. But yeah, I'm gonna flip this around to the back. If you look, it's got a full shield, which is not correct for the 70s. The 70s would have a partial shield just above the control cavity. And I actually made this little template right here from a real 70s pickup shield or pickguard shield. And yeah, anytime I get vintage guitars around me, I measure the headstock, the body thickness, I make templates of all those parts, the control cavities, basically everything, just to document it and use it for reference and future projects like this. So I'm going to trace this out and cut that pattern out of this existing shield. One thing that is kind of a bummer, if you look here, it's got this hole, which I've never seen before. I've seen the stickers that go right here. I'm assuming this is a new spot for a sticker to go. I might be able to take a piece from here and patch that in, but it's just kind of a bummer because there's no way to make that disappear. Also, the 70s pickguards, they always had initials in black or green Sharpie on the backside. So on this one, I'm going to put RI and then 25 for reissue and 25 for the year. It'll be cool because you'll get that 70s vibe, plus it lets people know that it's just a modern, reproduction part. Let me flip this around. So on this side, I'm just going to yellow it, add a bunch of scratches, dings, and little marks, and just stuff to make it look, old, to match the guitar better. When I yellow stuff, I don't ever use stains or dyes because I think the color always looks kind of just off and fake. Plus, it wears off quick, so what I'm going to use is a super strong UV lamp. And anyway, when I do that, it cooks the whole pickguard, and I use these little deals right here. And how I use these, this is just basically, it's a nut with a bolt and a little washer. That's the bottom side, if I can focus that. That goes through the back side, and then I screw this down on the front side. And when I expose this to really strong UV, these work as a shield and they block the light from cooking it, so you get these cool white shadows. And these washers right here are the exact same diameter as the vintage knobs. So anyway, I'm going to cook that, age it. It's going to be nice and classy, no crazy overdone stuff. So while this is cooking, I'll show you the knobs and the screws that came with it. So these are the parts that were on the guitar. The knobs are actually a Fullerton 1980s knob set. They're pretty cool. They're vintage, but the number font is too large for a 1970s guitar, so it's incorrect. The screws are a mixture of vintage and modern screws, and it was missing a spring. I dug up these parts right here. These are all from the 1970s, so we'll use what we have to complete the guitar. Now, as far as the knobs go, I may go with these knobs. They're just reissues. I mean, so are these, but these ones are old. These are new. These are the knobs that the custom shop uses. If I do go this route, I'm going to antique them. I'll yellow them a little bit, turn the font green, and just make them look appropriate for the rest of the guitar. And you guys can decide. I'll put both sets on the guitar, and in the comment section, you can decide which set you think looks better. If the owner doesn't like these knobs, he can easily pop these off and put these ones back on. They'll just be inside the hard case. So, in the meantime, the guitar pickguard is cooking. It's almost done. I did remove the shield, so as soon as that comes out, I'll show you guys what it looks like, and then from there I'll age it, and then reassemble the whole guitar and do the final reveal. So coming up next is the pickguard. So here's the pickguard after it's been cooked. It's completely done. I hope you liked this video. Remember to like and subscribe and smash that like button. Just kidding. If I ever say that again, I'll give you my address and I want you to come here and punch me. So that's a joke. This is not done. It just got out of the light box with the extreme UV. The cool thing about this is not only did it get UV exposure, but it also has ozone, which breaks down plastics. And this is a similar process to if a company creates a brand new product and they need to know how long it's going to last, they'll put it through these crazy conditions to break down the plastic and actually give it like 20 years of age to see if the plastic's going to hold up or not. So that's what happened here. This is actual real aging on this. No dye, no stain. So the color you see here is totally crazy looking, and this is going to get sanded off, so it's not going to look like this when it's done. But you can see the original color. That's where those little washers were put on to basically block the UV. When I sand this, I'm going to use this little sanding pad. It's like a sponge with soapy water so it can be wet to protect my lungs. This is, I think, 2500 grit. I'd never recommend going anything under like 2000 grit to do plastic parts or pretty much anything. Otherwise, you get that over-the-top, super fake-looking, dulled finished relic look that I just can't stand. So, again, this is going to look completely different when it's done. Once I sand it, I'm going to take this little thing I made. It's kind of hard to focus here, if I can focus. Anyway, it's just a little nut that I put on this. That's an old potentiometer part. And anyway, what this is for, I'll stick this in here and I'll twist this around, and it's going to leave that little nut ring that you see on the original pickguards right here. And then with the switch and pickup screw holes, I'll just take a screw. It's probably not going to focus, but anyway, I'll take a screw and just do the same thing, twist it in these little spots, and it'll leave those little rings. And then I'm going to do extra scratches and little grime and patina. This thing is not focusing, so yeah, that's going to come up next. Once it's done, I'll show you what it looks like and how the knobs look, and then we'll put it together and do the final reveal. So stick around, and that's coming up next. Alright, so the parts are done. Now I'm going to show you what they look like, so hopefully you like them. So here they are. As you can see, I did sand out all that crazy yellowish orange color. So it has a nice natural look to it. These are the knobs that I aged. As you can see, the font has been faded and greened. When I do this, I use all of my real knobs as an example, so they're not overdone. They look realistic, and no crazy sanding, none of that stuff. If you look, the pickguard, it does have those rings. That's from the screws being tightened down for years, and it kind of sinks into the plastic. Let me show you, the pickguard doesn't have any crazy scratch marks in it. The switch slit has been slightly squared at the edges because the switch goes back and forth and hits it, so that little round piece gets knocked down on both sides. It has a little bit of rust added to the holes because the old screws would rust and stain the holes. It's got a little pickup or picking scratches where the pick wear would be. I use my original guards. as a template for that. These pickup covers are probably from the 80s as well. I would almost guarantee it, but they're good enough. So that's what the pickguard looks like. Let me take off these knobs and just show you real fast. These compared to the new ones. One second here. Okay, so the new knobs obviously are on the bottom, and the age knobs are on the top. Let me move these guys out of here now. One second here. So yeah, that's what those look like up close. Now the final reveal, I'm going to do that outside, so there'll be natural light. You'll see way more details, the checking, the colors, everything's going to pop out way more, so we'll do that. Now I'm going to flip this over. There's the knobs, by the way, that came off of it with the total wrong font, the large numbers and stuff, so I think I'm going to go with these knobs because they look correct for the 50s through 70s. Anyway, there's the bottom. That's what it looks like after cutting out the shield. So that's the exact right size as the original. You can see I tried to fill in that hole, which it's not an easy job to make a perfect circle. I gave it little marks from the lock washers being tightened down. Also, the little imprint from the CRL switch. The RI25, this will focus. I probably should have done that after I cooked it because the ozone faded the heck out of it. Anyway, whatever. It is what it is. And if I try to go over it now, it's just going to look weird. So I added this grime here, just like you see on the originals when somebody spills stuff or sweats or who knows. So that's the back. Let's see here. If I can get this to focus. The whole thing though has a nice natural looking sheen to it. There's no crazy swirl marks or scratching or anything. There's those rings from the nuts being tightened down. So yeah, that's the pickguard. Now I'm going to install it onto the guitar and then do a final reveal and hopefully play it at the very end. So coming up next, the final reveal. Sorry guys, I lied on accident. Before the final reveal, I just wanted to show you that I found an extra spring in the control cavity, so I didn't have to use this spring right here. I put the original spring back with the assembly, and I figured I should show you this from the bottom side. It's a pretty nasty rat's nest. It looks like it's been unsoldered several times, or one really bad time. These are 79 pots. 137 stands for CTS, and then 79 is the year, and the 14 is the week, so the 14th week of 79. I might clean this up, but I've spent so many days on this guitar that I'll probably do it off camera or in the near future here. Here's what the pickups look like from the bottom side. So anyway, now I'm going to put it together and do the final reveal for real this time. So the guitar is done. I'm outside, it's really windy and noisy, and I'm crawling around, but we're going to start with the headstock. Okay, sorry. Crawling on the ground. I wanted this natural daylight, so that's why I'm doing this. Hopefully this is focusing. I gotta reposition real quick. Sorry about that. Yeah, this is just wanting to capture the reflection. The old pot metal saddles. Luckily on these left-handed guitars, the block is still steel. Say that 5 times fast. I can barely say it once slow, so. Alright, let's move on to what we came here for, right? The Pickguard. So that's what the Pickguard looks like in natural daylight. I hope you like the way it looks. There's the whole guitar and my little Hendrixy display. Some of you guys might be thinking why, because it's a 75, but I don't care. I think it looks cool. And these things, I've had these forever. They came from my grandma, and it's like, what do you do with these? I figured I'd do some weird little, I don't know, what's it called, a shrine or something? Anyway. There's that cool white primer. Let's see if we can get this checking now. I'm probably gonna wipe off this extra grime. I forgot to do that. It's one thing to have it underneath, but it looks like super orange in the sliding, but it's actually not. And if you look right here, see that little wood dowel in there? That is the same hole that you'd see on the other side, but on these lefty necks, they had it on the face too, probably from the template when they routed it. It was meant to be a right-handed guitar maybe, until they flipped it around. So once they did, cut it out for a lefty, they had to fill that hole. So you see that on the 50s guitars as well. It's windy and blowing stuff around, so move to this position. Maybe I can get some of the cool checking. Probably not. A little bit. Look at those oxidized springs. Also, sorry for the delay. My wife got super sick with a severe tooth infection. Her whole face swelled up, and then right after that, we found her cat completely unresponsive in the yard, and now she is super sick, and we're trying to take care of her, but we don't have money for the vet, so I'm just hoping she pulls through. So it's been a long, crazy week. I'm gonna try to record this guitar, by the way, but with all the stuff going on, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have time to. And I was kind of playing around with it. I made some weird little backing track, which I've never done. I just thought I'd play along with it, so it's not gonna be some perfect thing. I'm rusty, I got a billion excuses, but hopefully I can do it. And I'm just gonna play it the Univibe, kind of the whole Hendrix theme is what I'm going with. So alright, if that works out, that'll be coming up next, and if not, then thanks for watching and see you next time, or I'll see you in a couple seconds here. Anyway, thanks again and take care. was fun. It's been a long time. Like always, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.